We stand for a moment of silence and I pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Cuccia? Here. Mr. DePrettis?
Here.
Mr. Hagan?
He is on Zoom.
Ms. Lenz? Mr. Kennedy?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Reiner? Here. Ms. Turner? Here. Ms. Witt?
Here.
8 present and 1 absent. Kevin? Mr. Hagan?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm here.
Good. That's 8 present and 1 absent.
Kevin, while you're there, do you have a board report?
I do. The Mars Planet Foundation met in the boardroom on May 24th, 2022, and heard a grant presentation from Ms. Misura and Mrs. Zollner for their Rocket Readers program to be used at the elementary school. I'm pleased to report the foundation awarded them $1,500 to purchase supplies needed for their program. This award was actually double of their request. The foundation is currently partnering with the Mars Farmhouse Cafe for a dinner to go. Orders are due this Friday, June 17th. Meal can be picked up next Wednesday on June 22nd. The next Planet Foundation meeting is Tuesday, June 21st, to be held at the Gospel Fellowship Church in Valencia. We are always welcoming new volunteers to serve as ambassadors.
Thank you, Mr. Hagan. Protect next month.
Yes.
Okay. Any other board reports? No, that's Megan. She's not here. Student council. No one in the room, I assume. Is there anyone on Zoom for student council? Is there anyone on Zoom for student council? They're probably enjoying their summer.
It's almost over.
It is. I don't know. Public comment, agenda items. Anyone in the room for public comment on agenda items? So if it's agenda item, just say your name, your address, and agenda number you're speaking.
My name is Garrett Ringler. Address is 220 West Crookshank Road, Butler. It's in regards to the programs section number 4, which would be the resolution to adopt the World Health Organization and Department of Education's declaration of COVID-19 as a pandemic and an emergency for the upcoming school year. I'd like to address some concerns I have about this and just maybe point out what this may look like as an optics for the board to accept this resolution, and maybe just consider it more deliberately for what you are resolving. For example, I'd like to point out how can an emergency actually be declared in advance? As far as I understand, emergency is a temporary state of abnormal conditions. He's going on 2 years with proposal in the resolution for up to 4 more years. It seems like this is basically going to be everyday life. I'd also like to point out that it may be surprising to some people that, but WHO is considered by a lot of people at best to be grossly incompetent. For example, in January 2020, they declared that there's no evidence of person-to-person transmission of COVID-19. Oops. So I'd also like to point out that this accepts the premise that in-person and virtual learning are acceptable and of the same quality, I think, because there's no difference. It's just public, it's just, hours that they check off for minimum requirement from the state. You went to school. We can have COVID-19 days instead of snow days. We can have my 3rd grader attending gym class for just a YouTube video, or your high schooler playing Xbox while, the math teacher drones on the tablet in the background. I'm just pointing out that after all we've been through, after 2 years of this, these policies have been a joke and an absolute failure. And yet we're sitting here ready to codify this into our standard operating procedures for the administration in the district for virtually ever. I would prefer maybe the board would come up with their own resolution, maybe to repudiate these policies, maybe even condemn the organizations that are advocating for them. Because I'm frankly insulted by this. So thank you for your attention. Appreciate it.
If I could speak just to clarify, our health and safety plan, I believe I'm speaking for the entire board. We believe in person, 150%. What this does though, even though it's maybe distasteful to some folks, what this does though is our health and safety plan basically says we will remain open, but we will follow any and all mandates because obviously we can't lose funding. What this does is this protects the district. Should there be mandates that force closures, it allows us to at least continue to have school in some fashion. So that's all it is. It's like, so we've pretty much been on record that we believe in in-person learning too. I agree 150%. This just protects us should the state issue any type of pandemic related mandates, that we can still offer school that counts towards our 180 days and our hours of instruction. So for lack of a better way of saying it, it's like our hands are sort of tied. We want to make sure if there's a mandate, we have the ability to still do something that keeps our kids at, being in
Really
school.
no choice to it.
But I appreciate your comments.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else in the room wish to have public comment on agenda items? Seeing none, does anyone on Zoom wish to have public comment on agenda items at this point? Anyone on Zoom wish to have public comment on agenda items at this point? Seeing none, we'll move on with the agenda. Can I get a motion for to approve the minutes numbers 1 and 2?
Sally, so moved.
Second.
I have a first and a second for discussions, comments. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That carries. Under finances, we approve the special finance items, numbers 1 through 4. Can I have a first and a second?
And so moved.
Justin, second.
Does anyone wish to say anything about budget? Or
Thank you
discussion?
again to Debbie for putting together a very comprehensive budget and something that was a lot more friendly for the public and our constituency to understand. So thank you very much again. Big difference.
I have a few things, but I don't know if you want me to wait till the end. Both on one. It's up to you.
Till after we vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll just say it at the very, very end.
Okay,
Okay, is that?
I have the board comment section.
Yes.
Perfect. Anyone, before we vote on this, anyone else have board comment, questions? Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. DePrettis,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Lenz, absent. Mr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Reiner,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Wick,
Yes.
Mr. Cuccia? Yes. That's 8 yes and 1 absent.
Thank you. On the main agenda, under personnels, can I have a motion for numbers 1 through 28?
Justin, second.
I have a first and second. For discussion, comments?
Thank you, Debbie, for all your hard work. On the job description. Here.
Any other board comments, concerns? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That carries. On the main agenda, under finances, numbers 1 through 33. Have a first and second?
Justin, so moved.
Kevin, second.
Board discussion, comments? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? So that carries. The main agenda, under programs, numbers 1 through 10. Have a first and a second?
Yes, so moved. Nicole, second.
I have a first and second. Questions, comments?
I understand what he was saying about following the COVID-19 guidelines here constituted an emergency and everything. It does seem like it's getting old and redundant. Time to move on, but our hands are tied. Catch 22, so.
Any other board comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? So that carries. So under the main agenda, under policies, numbers 1 and 2, can I have a first and a second?
And so moved.
Anthony, second.
Board discussion, comments?
I just highly recommend that the public read these policies, comment if you have any comments.
It's a 30-day posting, and then we'll vote on it after 30 days. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That carries. Under buildings and grounds, can I have a motion for number 1?
Anthony, so moved.
Justin, second.
I have a first and second. Board questions, comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That carries. On the main agenda, under others, numbers 1 and 2.
And so moved.
Should I second?
Board questions, comments? Looks like we have some merchandise we gotta get rid of. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That carries. I think Kevin's just saying yes because he doesn't. Maybe I'm going too fast for Kevin, Mr. Hagan. Sorry. Moving on to main agenda, public comment and open forum. Anyone in the room wish to have public comment? Open forum?
Can I follow up at all?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a huge room full, so go ahead.
I want to.
Yeah, I just
want to point, just now, is there anything that you wouldn't do that they would imply, that they would require and mandate you do to the children that doesn't, jeopardize them? Just one thing that the Department of Education and the federal CDC could mandate that you would not blindly comply with. Just anything. Could be the worst thing ever, because I see you all here. I'm trying not to condemn you, and I understand it's a difficult position to be in, but at some point it gets bad enough, it gets ridiculous enough that you're just implementing enforcement mechanisms for that. I just, what is the point of you being here if you're rubber stamps? I understand that they have stranglehold on the funding, but at some point you just got to do the right thing, and things are ridiculous, the stuff they are implementing, and they continually do it regardless of evidence and consequences. So why don't you just, I wouldn't want to be in your position because it's useless, it's a waste of time. Just go to the state capitol and advocate dissolving the school boards and just have an administrative official appointed by the governor to run the administrations. That's basically what you're doing now, except now you have to listen to people like me talk to you go through elections. That's the difference.
But I would really like to commend this administration because we have stayed open. We have stayed open, and all of us on the board are on the same page. It is parent choice. It has been parent choice, and we have stayed open. And I don't anticipate that would change.
And
So
it's not just
kudos
give-
to you guys.
Yeah, it gives the superintendent the ability to set the health and safety plan, and we as a board have made tough decisions that other districts haven't made. We did stay open when other districts were closed. And we also had masking optional when many districts did not. So we do forge our own path according to what we feel parents, look for. So it doesn't just completely stranglehold us. It does give him the authority to the board to make decisions as we hear from the government. We can still make our decisions based on that.
Thank you. I don't mean to condemn you at all. I know you're in difficult positions. I'm just deeply frustrated, and it really looks like you do not have a choice, even though you're trying to justify it. I don't see it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room wish to have public comment? Seeing none, is anyone on the Zoom wish to have public comment at this point? Anyone on Zoom wish to have public comment? See none? Oh,
Real quick,
sorry.
just because everybody's kind of
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
go
me.
You just,
Hi,
say
I'm
your
gonna
name.
officially introduce myself. My name's Kelly. I work with the nutrition group. I'm actually the regional manager assigned to Mars. I started last year, but due to the bad COVID word, I didn't have a chance to attend things. So it's nice to meet all of you, and I'm excited to work with the district. Bridget, your on-site food service director, and I are excited to plan some new and exciting things. And we want to get student involvement. Unfortunately or fortunately, you know, social media is such a huge thing right now. We discussed today about getting like student advocates to kind of work with us and work for us and get students excited to eat in the cafeteria. So, awesome. And please, if you have any suggestions, I'm more than happy to work whatever we can.
I do the one, and I'm not sure exactly the way that that was executed, but when they were certain options of items that were not available, just really, if you continue to stay on top of that, and I know it was, I don't really stay on a lot of the social media, but I would track some of the items where you would say we're out of this, we're into that. Just the communication, we get it, supply chain, you can't supply something you don't have,
Right.
you get it. But just continue to communicate with the public so they understand
It's
what
also
their
not
options
for
are and
food
are not, so.
allergies. My daughter has a food allergy, and it's very important for me to know what's being served that day, so I know if she has to pack her, so that was extremely helpful.
Yeah, so for those, I thought it was great, just as much as we can keep doing that, to reduce frustration, that's great. More
Not a problem.
communication, the better.
And we're hoping, we've modified our menu to be things that we didn't struggle with supply chain issues. So our company has adapted. We also took on a secondary food service provider. Nutrition works primarily with, I heard they just changed their name. I think it's PFG now. But we also link with Cisco, so that we kind of were able to bounce off of both of them, to try to prevent those things from happening. But thank you, absolutely. I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming in and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Like, move us on to the agenda for MAEA. Is there anyone from the association wish to speak at this point? Either online, probably. Is there anyone from MAEA from the association that wish to speak? Seeing none, I'll move on. Administrator reports. Dr. Gross.
Yeah, I just wanted to extend a special thank you to Mr. Heinauer. We accepted his resignation this evening at Mars, and he's been here for decades. Retirement. Sorry. But we accepted his retirement this evening after decades of working with our students and our student athletes. So just wanted to wish him well in his retirement, and we look forward to him assisting us with the transition.
Thank you. Dr. McMahon.
Yes, please, just to give you some updates on our ESSER funding for summer academics. We had our federal funding meeting back in April, and we discussed as a committee that we would continue into the summer months, and we've got a survey out to parents asking them interest levels and things like that. So what we received back was how we're going to do is we had the committee, we met with our teachers. We've got about 17 teachers that are on board to help facilitate the instruction. So we're looking to, we're going to call it lift off to success. How we're going to run this is going to be for our current K through 5 students. So we'll do grades K1, 2 in the AM session, and we'll do grade 3, 4, 5 in the PM session. And then just to give you kind of an idea of what we're looking at for students and why we had to divide it versus full day is because we have approximately 181 students coming in the morning, and then we have about 113 students at this point coming in the PM. We're not going to turn anybody away. So there might be more trickling in, but that's what we have right now. And the dates will be August 8, 9, 10, and 11. And we're going to house this camp down in the elementary building. Additionally, based on the committee meeting, we are going to offer through our ESSER funding, academic support to our ESL students, who are students learning the English language. And we'll be doing that with individual tutoring sessions with Mr. Kenneth Bloom, working with secondary students, and Mrs. Melissa Steiner working with K-6 students, and they are setting them up with individual families to kind of meet their needs and help support their language acquisition skills. Additionally, looking at social and emotional health of our students, we're working with Lauren Klein, who works with social emotional and caseworker in K-6, and then we have Megan McCall, who works with our students in secondary level offering therapeutic support services. So we're going to continue those throughout the course of the summer months, and those two are set up as individual schedules. And Lauren Klein's going to piggyback that with the extended school year for special needs students. So what's going to happen is students that met the requirement for extended school year services, they'll receive their services in the mornings during the extended school year, which will run from July 5th to July 28th. And then the students who did not qualify under special education guidelines for extended school year, so work with those elementary students in the afternoons between the days of July 5th through July 28th, next Monday through Thursday. And then for the students in the secondary level, Megan McCall has already mapped out the schedule, setting up individual appointments with the families that best meet their needs. And some will be in small group, some will be in as individual social emotional sessions. Again, all of this utilizing our PESO funding. And again, we're not turning anybody away. So there might be some parents listening that did not respond to the survey, but if they just give us a call, we can add them to the listing. So there'll be more information coming, because additionally we're flying busing. Right now part of our survey, we asked parents, do you need busing in order for your child to participate? And literally, the numbers are growing because more have called and kind of said yes, and now we use busing. So again, we will not turn anybody away. We're offering busing. There's no fee to the families. So if someone has not already, they're more than welcome to just give us a call and we can add them to the list. And then as we map it out a little bit more in detail, we'll be putting out information to the parents coming in July. Again, those dates are August 8, 9, 10, the Lift Off to Success. That's for the K-6. So now looking at the grades to the K-5, looking at our current grade 6 to 12 using the ARPESO funding, those students are offered the mathematics tutoring. And again, that goes back to our committee where they talked about the mathematics seems to be the biggest need in the secondary level. So we have a few teachers in the secondary level willing to do tutoring services. So once we solidify it with our teachers, we will then have the teachers reaching out and setting individual tutoring schedules with those students in need. And then we just looking forward to the next school year. It's our goal, hopefully with the teacher support, that we will continue the after school program of the Reading Rockets and the Comic Club. And we'll cross that bridge in August, but that's our plan as administrative team to carry that on. Thank you.
I just want a summary of what occurred in special ed and gifted education this year. So with the Gifted Parent Advisory Committee, we held 5 meetings this year, and then I held 5 additional meetings just with the officers. We had 1 parent training, and then we had to reschedule one of the trainings for next school year due to the speaker not available. With the Special Ed Parent Advisory Committee, we had 4 parent meetings, and then we had 5 parent trainings this school year. In addition, both groups put out, I believe, 2 newsletters throughout the school year. Updates with special education, so requests for evaluations. This school year, we had 396. That's initial, full reevaluations, speech, 504s, and gifted. And we met all timelines for all those evaluations. Teacher reevaluations, those are the triannual record reviews. We have 128 of those. At the end of the school year, we had 561 students in special education. 31 students graduated. So at the beginning of the year, right now, for started, we would have 530 students in special ed beginning next school year. We're going to have some students leave, some students move out, and we are testing over the summer. So that number will most likely increase. We had 113 at the end of the school year. We had 16 graduates. We're starting off with 97. We're testing about 30 students in K1 and 2 for gifted. So once again, that number is going to increase also. 504s, 86, 6 graduates. We're gonna start off about 80 students next year. We'll have some move in, some move out also. In May, we conducted interviews for the speech therapist and 3 special education positions. It was 3 weeks of interviews in May, so that was a lot of work. They were all hired. You approved all those today. One for the speech therapist last week. Thank you very much. Access billing, we are meeting with our consultant tomorrow, Debbie, Tina, and I, and we are going to get that underway already. Summer testing is underway. Our schedules are filling up very fast. We have a lot of kids to test. We are not going to get to all of them, but we are doing as many as we can this summer. ESY will run from July 5th to July 28th. We held the second planning meeting today, and the teachers and the paras and speech and everybody, they have a lot of great things planned for the students this summer. And we are finishing up our special education PIMS reports. We ran it today, got a lot of errors, but I just fixed a lot of errors. I just had to go and change one thing in the one report. So our report tomorrow, I'm thinking is only gonna have about 10 errors we're gonna have to fix. So that's everything right now. And we have Avery here. She attended today. We just hired her as a para for the middle school. She's coming from Morris Company.
Welcome. Thank you.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Ms. Branstetter?
Thank you all for approving the budget tonight. I just want to mention, one of the other things that you approved was the lunch and breakfast prices for the 22-23 school year. Just wanted to mention that last 2 years we've had free breakfast and lunch thanks to the federal government and the National School Lunch Program. That will not continue into the 22-23 school year, so we'll be back to paying for lunches unless a student qualifies for the free and reduced lunch program. So we will be getting information out to families. We'll be updating the district website as well. So that is a change for next year that'll go into place. And then also want to mention that we do have student accident insurance that's available. That's something that's available for parents to purchase, and that information, I believe, is probably on the website. If not, I'll make sure that that gets updated on there'll be an application that parents can access through the district website as well. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Branstetter. Mr. Slavin? Sorry.
As part of the posting for the lunch.
Yeah.
That's something we sent out a couple of times on how exactly you're supposed to fund those accounts, because I'm sure there are some people that haven't met in a while, and that's always been a little bit of a sticky situation, knowing exactly how to fund and track your kids' amounts. And with some people that have been in the district now 2 years may have never done it before, so that's, I think, a little extra care with that would save us some time.
Yeah, we can do that. You'd be surprised though, there's still been a lot of money going into those accounts. People still giving money for a la carte snacks. Yeah. That's what I thought too, until I was like, there's still been a lot of money running through those accounts. Yeah, but we definitely will include information on that.
And I'm marketing people are working on, because you're not the only district that's going back.
Yeah.
They're really working on some good, brightly eye-catching, hey, we're going back to. And the point of sale we have has some marketing about billing and stuff.
Yeah, you know what'll happen that first Friday, that first week, it's gonna be under.
We tried the last couple weeks, all the kind of, and they're like, what do you mean? Okay, first couple weeks are gonna be great.
Does nutrition, do you guys have a Facebook page or anything we can share in the district or any parent
so
that we can share?
Bridget actually has a Mars Instagram, I believe it is. I don't know if it's linked to the district, but I can definitely make sure I get it out to you guys.
Just that way we can share things. It's easy for
It
parents.
actually would be
I
nice
appreciate
if
that.
we dedicated one that we share instead of, I think it was Charlene was her name, who would just go and post on our Mars groups. It would be nice if it came from the nutritioning or something, you know what I mean, a little bit more formal process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll work up front, but I can see if people know where to reference it all the time and probably save a lot of questions.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much.
Any other questions about Debbie's? Anything? Mr. Slavin?
Just special thanks to Untitled Church. Usually they'd help out at Easter, but they gave the neediest families in May. They brought in also with gift cards for I think 30 of the neediest families in addition. And also, she never likes to be mentioned, but Laura Seabrook, we had a student that needed clothes for graduation, and special thanks to Mr. Del Duca, took them shopping, and Megan McCall for also coordinating with Mr. Del Duca to make sure the kid got what he needed for graduation. Currently, we're also getting a couple kids things for summer, and just wrapping up a good school year at the primary center.
Awesome. You be ready for next, and it's like 3 weeks away.
Yeah, right. According to you, it's Monday.
Yeah, it's actually. Did I miss any administrators? I don't think so. We did have a closed session prior to this meeting for personnel. We will not have one for after. Who is on the board comments? Jen signed up early for board comments.
Sign up. It's not a dig at anybody in this room, just FYI. I love you all. The budget I voted yes to tonight meets the needs of all students in our district, but I'm not personally fully satisfied. This budget doesn't completely address several issues that I feel we have, such as conditions of our tennis courts, parking issues, ongoing support staffing issues with maintenance, testing and paras, signage, building and grounds upkeep at our schools, one-to-one technology at our elementary classrooms, inflationary costs and how that affects future financial planning, evaluation and determined planning for future growth in our school building, the potential for an all-day kindergarten programming, don't panic, Dr. McNeil, foreign language programs for our youth, enhancements to our cyber course offerings, hiring a curriculum director, or even defining and assigning those duties and setting goals to existing staff, lack of a playground at Centennial, or just to name a few things. Families today are dealing with inflation, higher gas prices, higher groceries, higher gas and electricity bills are going up. And despite many district expenses rising as well, administration worked very hard to minimize the impact on taxpayers this year while still adding positions to our academic program. And for that, I thank you very much. The mission of the Mars Area School District is to create and sustain an educational environment that allows all students the opportunity to realize their maximum learning potential. And I would just like to emphasize the word maximum. As we move into the next year, I implore my fellow board members and school district leaders to seriously consider creating a strategic plan so that we can continue to align and evaluate ourselves with our mission, sorry, I'm very nervous, and vision. Set proactive, not reactive strategies to guide our programming, prepare for challenges that lie ahead, and to build a solid financial foundation that will carry us into the future. That's it. Done.
Thank you. Great job. Anyone else in this side room have public comment?
Just big congratulations to the boys lacrosse team. Pretty amazing effort. It was neat to watch. It was neat to watch them leaving that day from we just driving by and drove in, watching them all leave, and it was a neat experience. I'm sure it's amazing for them. So congratulations to all involved. And thank you to Mr. Heinauer for his 37 years of service. So
37 total, I think 34 with March.
yeah. So have a
good career. Yeah.
I'd like to echo the thanks to Mr. Heinauer as well, and welcome to all of the new staff members. We're great to see you.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Jen, thank you for preparing that. I think you echo my sentiments as well. I think the budget process, thanks to Debbie, was very easy for us to understand and get through and convey everything to the public. But I do think that we have a lot of work ahead of us for the years to come. So bear with us, and hopefully we can work together to address most of those issues, if not all of them, in the future. I'm sorry, I forget your first name, Doug? Gary. Okay, don't worry, I got it. So just, I want you to know that we hear your frustrations. I don't think you're the only one out there that's frustrated with COVID and everything else. And, you know, we as a board and as the administration and as the school district have to be very careful with what we can and cannot do. So there's a line there that we have to be sure we don't cross. And it's something that, again, I think you're not alone in your frustrations, and we do hear you, and we try to take that into consideration with all of our discussions and our decisions. And I think the board, prior to us coming on as new board members in the heart of the pandemic, really did try to do what was best for the community and the public, and hearing everybody, your concerns, and keeping the children in school. So I just want you to know that your comments are not lost on us. We do hear you, and we're doing our best to make sure that it's appropriate for our community.
Before I jump to this side, I want to make sure Kevin doesn't have anything to say because I'll forget. Kevin, did you have anything for board comment?
I think he's on.
No, not this week. Thank you.
All right, go back to the sand.
Yeah.
This side of the room.
Welcome to all the new hires. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to also congratulate the boys lacrosse team. I love what you've just seen on Facebook or any kind of social media, how this community comes together. And the cheerleaders were there, the parents were there, everybody made signs, Adams Township Police. It's amazing the support that we have from our parents. And I would also like to thank Debbie. We're adding more programs and more teacher positions to this next year. We do have a long list of things that we would like. We know that there are more pressing foundational needs that need to be addressed first, and I think we're doing that. We would like to also, we've talked about getting a feasibility study done. We are going to work on having a 5-year plan, strategic plan. We are planning for growth. So I just want to let the community know that we are doing things behind the scenes to try and make things happen.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Dustin, so moved.
So I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Enjoy the rest of your summer.
See you guys.